What is up? It is Hope. I'm back again with week number 4 of the OTR Standard Tournament Season 8. We're going to be covering 3 qualifiers during this week. We are in week 4, and since I already covered qualifier number 10, which was technically this week, but it was on Monday, and I was like, you know what? Let's just go and wrap it up in last week. So if you missed Qual 10, it's in last week's. Go check out the restreams. They've been killing it. Regardless, we are here, and we're going to be covering qualifier number 11. Thank you to Rotator Dose. There was no restream for qualifier 11, so we went ahead and reached out and grabbed Bro here for qualifier number 11. So let's get into it. Adult start, Shadow, DC, Fire. Those are our medallions. Spirit and Water are Spirit and Shadow medallions. Now, one thing about this seed is you get this hinted. Requiem is hinted directly in the Sunsong Grave, or Royal 2, whatever you want to call it. But I wanted to highlight one thing that really helped out Bro in this seed. And I'll tell you why afterwards. But Bro does here what we call fire or flame storage here in the Royal 2. And this bypasses magic and a fire source. He gets a big chest right there. What is that big chest? What's the biggest thing that you could possibly pull from this? Magic. That right there, the reason why that is so huge is because, oh, this is huge as well, by the way. 30 skulls, Din's Fire. We need Shadow. 40 skulls, a hook shot. We need water. Okay, so the reason why that's so huge is because Magic 1 is on Frogs 2. It's on Frogs 2, and logically you're required to go into Ice Cavern to go get Sunsong. You get an Ice Cavern to Bongo. So realistically, the game wants you to go to Ice, which has nothing other than Sunsong, to use Sunsong on the Frogs 2 check to go get Magic 1. But cool thing is, Bro realized while they were in Ice Cavern, nope, it's just for Sunsong. We don't need to do that. And I thought that was really cool. So I really wanted to highlight that. Thank you so much, Bro, for letting us use your gameplay for this. So a couple of things other than the 30 and 40 hard required. We get Kokiri Forest to Evil's Bane. It's bombs right there. There's bombs. Okay, so you're like, all right, dude, there's so many checks that are bomb locked. You're right. But it's just in Lost Woods. Lost Woods just has a bomb lock grotto that has your light arrows, so you don't really have to hunt too far. It's actually pretty close to where you get that hint and where you get the bombs. So that right there is a strength. I don't remember where it is, but yeah, Frogs 2, Magic 1. Now, one thing is that is light arrows. Boom, just like that. We do get a hint, Death Mountain Trail to Morpha. Well, we already know where Frogs, well, there's Frogs 2. We already know where Hookshot is. And it's on 40 schools, right? Well, that one is logically Hookshot locked. So you logically need the Hookshot or Hookshot 1 to get the long shot. So there's long shot, blah, blah, blah. Ocarina of Time is Prelude of Light, just as you saw just there. One cool thing about this seed, Nocturne was vanilla. There's the first hook shot. So the first hook shot's in DMT. I know I'm going in circles right here, but DMT, Death Mountain Trail, has the first hook shot to get the second hook shot. The irons are somewhere else down the line. I thought this was pretty cool. Nice little bug bottle. Don't know why I included it, but there you go. I have that. And there is Death Mountain Trail to Morpha right there in Death Mountain Trail. So, but yeah, and so Nocturne was vanilla here, which means that you logically needed to beat DC and Fire to get your Nocturne song. There's another, that mirror right there is actually part of the path hint, Graveyard to Twin Rova, and mirrors just right there. There's the bait hint, Ice Cavern to Bongo, super baity. If you already have the Magic 1, then realistically, you could do what Bro did here and just go into Ice Cavern to get some skulls. Because, I mean, you gotta do 40 skulls anyway. DTG just popped off with a boomerang, which you don't need. So, don't worry about that, brother. and also in the irons. So as soon as he gets the long shot, he can just go beat water, right? Well, this was a pretty stacked skull house. You got Rudo's letter, which again you don't need, but logically you do. There's your long shot, and might as well shimmy on over and grab that Din Spire. Now you could go beat your Shadow Temple. You could go beat Water Temple. You could go beat Jabul if you really want to. But one cool thing is, if you took Brote's Path here, you get a bow, and literally the next check, which is bow locked right here. This is the push block in water. Hammer. That puts you in go mode. That's pretty much the seed. Nothing crazy, honestly. I wish I played this one. This was honestly a fun one to go back and rewatch. I wish this one was restreamed, but honestly, it was like a random weekday. It happens. I think it was like Thursday. It definitely happens. So again, don't expect a restream for every single one of them. We are going to do our absolute best to make sure that they get them, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. That being said, let's go and switch over to the standings for this qualifier. There's a familiar name. Exodus, finishing in first place with a 2:17.53. Finishing 10 minutes, just under 10 minutes. To second place, Tanjo, sorry. Tanjo coming in second with 2:27.33, and only 9 seconds after that with Weighty Word. First time seeing them in the top 10. That's pretty cool. Both of them still getting over 1,000 points, which honestly you can't even shake a stick at. So that's pretty nice. Say, one of the familiar names in the top 10, absolutely. With a 229 and Will X 49, another brand new to the top 10 here with a 229, just 32 seconds afterwards. Then we got Alpha finishing in 2:30.26. I think this is their third top 10 appearance. And honestly, really nice to see their name up there. They've been grinding hard. Big DK64 player. There's Brote finishing up in 7th, 2:33.43. I still think took a really good route and ended up doing pretty well. Ecola with a 2:34.01. And Ryukane finishing with a 2:34.07. Aosuna finishing up in our 10th place spot that we're going to be showcasing here today with a 2:34.26. And honestly, all the way down to top 11 with Keatums with a 2:34.55. All of those players getting a 950 plus. Again, that is the number that, like, if you get 950 plus, and I know this is unrealistic for every single qualifier, but if you have an average of 950, I think you should feel pretty safe going into the top 32. So that should be what you should shoot for. That should be kind of the goal time. I think at the end of the season, we might be looking at like a 925 to 935 realistically for the cutoff for the top 32. But if you want to almost feel guaranteed, or dare I say safe for top 32, you should be averaging around 950 plus. Yeah, I know I say that, but it's not easy. Every runner is absolutely killing it, and I mean, it's just been very tough competition. Yeah, so let's go and switch on to the next player, and that is, oh boy, here we go. It's gonna be Normal Base. Now, this restream was done over on the Silver Gauntlets, our brother channel, who has been they're doing 3 qualifiers. It was qualifier 7, I believe, qualifier 12, which is this qualifier right here, and qualifier 15, which will be coming up this week coming up. So in next week, well, for me this week, but next week for you guys, week 5. The Silver Gauntlets is also going to be picking up, I believe, qualifier 15. It's either that or 17. I honestly don't remember. It's definitely one of those odd numbers. So yeah, don't quote me on that. All right. Anyway, let's get to it. Qualifier number 12. We have a DC Shadow Fire. as our medallions that we need to complete, and Jabul and Forest as our spirit and shadow medallion. The reason why I kind of I like to separate those is because you cannot get a hinted item for DC Shadow Fire in this seed and it lead to an item for Jabul and Forest, because the way the hint prioritization works, realistically, I'm just kind of separating that for myself. Here you get a Spirit Temple to Volvagia, and we find out later down the line, also getting 22s very early on Man on the Roof and going straight into DC, which you need to do, getting the big Goron Sword, but most importantly, getting the Strength, which will minimize the amount of bomb shoes that you're going to utilize in DC, and you need to do it anyway, feels amazing. And I imagine that Narvel probably felt really good about that. So, anyway, you have DC Shadow and Fire to complete, and then Jabul and Forest as your Spirit and Shadow meds. You have a Nocturne start, so, you know, you kind of have options as to what you want to do. No skulls whatsoever in the seed. I believe so. I don't know about 10 and 20. I didn't write anything, so hopefully nothing. You do get a Kakariko to Evil's Bane. And you also get a hint that light arrows are in shadow. So you're probably thinking that Evil's Bane is hinting towards, you know, a shadow item. And it does. You saw there Child Chickens had a magic. And with Child Chickens having a magic, that was actually logically the path there. Now, there's another item in Kakariko that you could argue could also be the path, but reading the spoiler log afterwards, it was the magic, and it makes sense. Burning Cack is Prelude of Light. I don't remember what the second one is. Please enlighten me. Ooh, that's a big one. Underwater, silver rupees, chest, sunken silver rupees in Rudo Training Ground is a bow. GTG Toilet, that's what all that is. If you see a bunch of text in one of your hints in S8, it's literally just toilet. Just tell yourself toilet. Iron Boots. I'm everywhere. Let's reel it back just a little bit. Anyway, Kakariko has a magic. That magic opens up Shadow eventually down the line and gets you light arrows, which is hinted on a double or a dual hint, where lights is on the invisible spinning blade in Shadow. Now, there's also Dins on Cack Archery. Cack Archery just straight up gives you the Dins, and for a lot of people that Dins was go mode. I played in this, and I never found the Dins. I had no reason to go back into Kakariko. I already turned 20 skulls in, so that was a hard last location for me. Boo-hoo, doesn't matter, I'll take a loss. Anyway, you get a hook shot, which is hinted. How is that hinted? Well, you get a Hyrule Field Path to Phantom Ganon. Oh, I'm sorry, no, that's totally wrong. I just lied to you. Goron City Path to Phantom Ganon. What's in Goron City? We have the Iron Boots. Well, what we don't have a hook shot, so we're not going to take those Iron Boots and go into water. We do have bombs or explosives of some kind, so we take that and go to Tektite Grotto, which has our first hook shot, which you saw. Believe me, I'm playing catch up here. Then you go over into Forest and you can find Long Shot. Well, if you've got Strength, you've got hook shot, and you need to beat Forest, you might as well just go over to GTG, go get your bow, which there's another bow available. You also just so happen to get the Hover Boots, which is required. You get the lens, which also is required because there is a song on Treasure Chest minigame, and it's Strength 2. Now, Strength 2 goes and opens up something here, which is the hammer. Rudo's letter is just inside of Spirit, and the hammer is inside of Spirit as well, and it's specifically mirror locked because you do get an ice cavern path to Volvagia, and you get the mirror in ice cavern, so you know that the hammer has to be mirror locked specifically. Now, what am I about to get to here? Magic 1 is logically in Kakariko on Child Chickens. There is a Magic 2 inside of GTG that is key locked. It's either 4 or 5 key locked, I don't remember, but The reason why that's magic 2 and why that path is hinting towards magic is because the hammer locks a key inside of GTG. That fire surrounded chest inside of GTG, top right, yeah, that's fire locked. So the hammer is locked by 5 keys inside of Spirit Temple, which is locked by the Mirror Shield and Strength 2, and it is also magic locked, the hammer is. So you need magic to get the hammer, logically, because there's one magic lock key in Spirit. I don't know why I'm sitting here trying to explain Spirit key logic, but we're here, and honestly, let's just finish it out. There's magic lock key, and the hammer is in a location that you need all 5 keys logically to get to. So that's why magic is wave the hero or path in this instance instead of Din's, but I think very much it could have been Din's as well, because they both end up pointing towards the same thing if you hit either one of them. Anyway, yeah, so the hammer and Rudo's inside of Spirit, where Spirit is hinted to Volvagia anyway, is just your go mode for a lot of people. So you just go into Spirit and you end up getting both of those. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, that's whatever. It is what it is. That being said, let's go and check out the final standings for this one. This is qualifier number 12. I'm more or less just saying that for myself. The final standings kind of looks like that. So, Drew finishing in first place. I believe this is Drew's first finish. First finish, if that makes any sense. It's Drew's first finish. Finishing up in qualifier number 12 with a 1048 qualifier points, 223.26, finishing in first place ahead by just under 5 minutes there. It's kind of insane. Keatums, we saw them number 11 in the last one, finishing 228.06, also over 1,000 points. This one's a little insane because you've got 5 players over 1,000 points. You don't see that very often. Usually it's 2 to 4 players, but 5 players is definitely like on the higher side, and getting 1,000 points definitely feels really good. So the what we have seen a player hit exactly 1,000 points, and what that means is that is the goal time. Okay, 1,000 is the goal. When we saw Engel with an 1,100 in last week's, that is the maximum time. That is like the absolute lowest time to get the maximum amount of points. And the goal is the goal for everybody else. So it starts counting down from 1,000 from the person who finished with that time, or whatever that average is. Anyway, let's not talk about that. Exodus, who did win in the last qualifier, in qualifier 11, finishing up in third with 1012 qualifier points. Ecola again finishing in the top 5 again with a 230.37 with a 1001 qualifier points. Double Decker, I think this might be their second time in the top 10 that we've covered at least, with the 1,000 points like we were saying, with a 230.44, which is the goal time here. Floosh finishing up with a 234.41 with a 974. This is probably one of the lower scores that Floosh has gotten, which is kind of crazy for me to even say. Realistically, just go back and look at the old ones. Floosh has been winning seeds left and right, and Christopho, who was on Restream, I do believe. No, never mind. This was a different one. They were on Restream for 13, not 12. Sorry. Who did end up getting a 238.57 with 945 qualifier points. As you can see, only the top 6 here actually ended up getting above the 950. Manu finishing with the 239.05 with a 944. Narvel, who we covered today, who ended up winning on Restream, quote unquote, with a 241.06 with a 931. Aosuna finishing up in 10th with a 241.21, only 15 seconds behind with a 929 in the qualifier points. Honestly, pretty solid. This was a seed that definitely punished you for not understanding, you know, the path to Evil's Bane, and the fact that hammer has to be specifically in one location, or it could be in like one of two locations, but the fact that it's 5 key locked and figuring out where the magic is. Honestly, at the end of the day, what cooked a lot of people is Dins. Yeah. Oh, Strength 2 also. Strength 2 was on chess minigame. Yeah, that cooked quite a few people too. I forget about that one. But yeah, so Dins and Strength 2 are kind of weird. You know, if you don't already have 20 skulls, or if you're not going for 20 skulls and you have not gotten a bow yet and you don't want to go back to Kakariko, then getting that Din's Fire is a little tough to get to. That I say that from experience. That's what happened with me. I had already turned in 20. Yada, it happens. So then the Strength 2, I mean, chess minigame, there's nothing really pointing towards it, and a lot of people last located it. And you know, when you last located in a qualifier, every second counts. It seems like every 5 seconds, maybe every 10 seconds, you're losing a point, and that's realistically what happens there. So yeah. So anyway, let's go and switch on over to qualifier number 13. Qualifier number 13, where are you? We're right here. Maybe I clicked the wrong one. I definitely clicked the wrong one. We're back. Oh, we are so not back. We're back. All right. Qualifier number 13, we got City. City playing for us for qualifier number 13. Please show us what we got today. We have a Song of Time, Adult Start, Water Med Start. So we need to defeat Fire, DC, Water, and then our Shadow and Spirit medallions are Jabul and Shadow. I definitely want to highlight that in this one. We do have a Skull Seed, 30 skulls for Ruto's Letter. Nothing crazy, and it's one of those Skull Seeds, you don't know it, but you could slowly route those skulls in. Magic pretty early on Dampe. You got a Dodongo's Cavern, which is foolish, but it's also your Forest medallion. So you get to decide, okay, do I get bomb shoes? Like, when do I get bomb shoes, and can I do it pretty quickly? When do I do that to get that song, and how much do I value that song? You do get a hookshot early in Mido's house, and Skull Kid is hinted with a bottle of blue fire, and that's just double D's. You do get a Dodongo's Cavern, a Desert Colossus, and a Gerudo Valley Foolish. Those are pretty good foolishes, honestly. DC is something that you just tend to do once you get bombs or explosives. So getting that pretty early is, you know, kind of nice. And that's just kind of how the settings are. I did want to highlight that Dampe didn't have anything crazy, but it was a cool little bug bottle. This is the second time we just showed a little bug bottle. Maybe we show that every time from here on. Here in, let's see, we did get a market to Baronade. Now, what is the market to Baronade? Great question. It's Strike 2. So this one's a little weird, because there is some path prioritization that takes place here. You do get the hammer inside of Goron City, which is Strength 2 locked. You get a Strength inside of Market, which is path to Baronade. You also get a scale, so some people think, oh, maybe the scale, you get the scale and it unlocks, you know, the other scale, or you take the scale and you go do lab diving, you're looking for the irons, you need to beat water. I'm just saying items at this point. But what it is the Strength, because Strength 2 is needed, and all three strengths are available, so it's just hinting a Strength is needed for the Strength 2 to get the hammer, which you could get very easily inside the maze. There's a big chest on either side, so you can just jump off the big chest, and you'll see Cindy do that here shortly. And you could just get that hammer, and that hammer has the ability to unlock the boomerang very late in the fire. And honestly, it really just kind of hurt a lot of people. See, you get a big chest here, which is the lens, not needed. Not needed. I promise you, I checked. I even showcased it. We don't need treasure chest minigame at all. There's the hammer. There is a boomerang, literally the next check after getting the long shot. Or I'm sorry, after getting the boss key in fire. And it feels really bad. It feels really, really bad. One cool thing about this seed, there's 3 Evil's Bane's hints. Why is that cool? Well, I mean, it's kind of cool. I will say this seed is kind of also cool because we get another, like during qualifier 11 with Bro, where he got 3 items back to back to back inside of the skulls. We also have 3 items that are locked behind skulls on this seed. You might not think, see, chess minigame is dead. I had to prove it. I have to highlight whenever there's whenever there's a lot of skulls. Honestly, whenever there's any skulls. And in this seed, there was a hovers on 10. There was, I believe, first bomb bag on 20. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's the irons in Southfield on the scrub. 10-cent scrub. Yeah, and then 30 skulls had the Rudo's letter. So if you just went into there with 30 skulls and you check 10, 20, and 30 all at the same time, you probably get a little dopamine rush, you know? Like, oh my goodness, what is going on here? Anyway, we have a vanilla Nocturne again. Second time in a row. I mean, qualifier 11 and qualifier 13. We'll say it's in a row because it's in the same seed. We do, as you can see in the back of Lake hints, Cindy gets a forest to Shadow. And Shadow just has the mirror shield. I don't think we need that mirror shield, I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we don't need that. There's the bomb bags. Cindy used one of his last 2 chews in Shadow. And there's Rudo's letter for Cindy. Yeah, so Irons in Southfield, you get a forest to Bongo. There's Dins with the back of Lake Hylia hints. There are 3 paths to Evil Bane. Where are the lights? Well, the lights are in Spirit. You get a Kakariko and Graveyard path to Evil Bane, and Spirit to Evil Bane. I thought this was pretty cool. Hitting the pixel shot. Let's go, Cindy. That's what I'm talking about. Love to see it. That's one of my favorite tricks. Like, for no reason. I know it's, like, tough, but hitting it and then getting, you know, the boss key out of it, pure, the skill right there. You should learn that. So Kakariko just had a bunch of items. I mean, it has bombs, it has hovers. That's pretty cool. The Graveyard, I don't remember what was in there. I'm gonna be honest with you. You can figure that one out for yourself. There's the lights right there. So Spirit is hinted because Spirit straight up has the light arrows. Tech and Graveyard are hinted because they have a ton of items that get you the light arrows. So it's for Spirit key logic. 3 paths to Evil Bane. The last 2 hints are Market to Baronade and the Forest to Bongo, which is literally like Market to Baronade at least gets you like a string of items, but Forest to Bongo is literally just the Dins. That's it. It's just Dins. Oops, all Dins. Anyway, that ring and deep fire, that ring and deep fire definitely like pulled a lot of people out of, you know, the shadows there. And I don't know what I mean by that, but you could interpret that as you will. The ring and deep fire definitely hurt a few people. But you know, if you just one trip fire and you go all the way through copium, then you should be fine and you'll be all right. And that's what I assume our first place winner here did today. A fellow race mod, give it up for Schultzer. Schultzer getting first place here with a 224.33 with 1046 points. We got Seze finishing up in second with the 227.27 with the 1027. Barbu finishing up in third. Tournament organizer represent 1024 points. Marco finishing up in fourth. They've been hitting top 10s all season long. With the 232.37 with the 992. Somebody we haven't seen in the top 10 before, Aurelius. Fifth place with the 233.06 with a 989. Cola. Top 10 again with a sixth place, 236.50 with a 965. Fur finishing up in seventh with a pretty strong finish here with the 238.30 with a 954. all you can eat. Another top 10 that we have not seen yet before, with a 240-35 with a 940, very solid to pad your scorings there. I-Cola or E-Cola finishing with the 240-49, the 938, and finishing up in 10th. What the hell's happened? WTHH, it's hells with the 242-31 with a 927 score. All right, let's go and check the overall standings. Overall, first place, Alexis stays. Week 4, Alexis was fighting for that top and is still there by a solid 30 points. Exodus has the potential to knock Alexis off that throne and overtake the 4K. Oh my goodness, we've got 3 players in the 4K. Last season, if I remember correctly, there was only 2 players in the 4K spots, and that was Xavi and Mr. Mario. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Hold on, we could check that right now, right? Yeah. No, there's 3. I was wrong. Mr. Mario at the 40-81 and still have 1 race to go. Kind of flexing, honestly. Xavi 40-43 and then Marco 40-10. Well, this season, so far we have 3 40s already with a 40-52, a 40-22, and a 40-11. We're going to go and check out the top 32 here because everything's kind of slowly rubber banding together. Everything's kind of snapping into place. And we're going to see what I imagine is a decent snapshot into what top 32 is going to look like, because we only have 7 more qualifiers left. 7. It's less than half. Bloosh with 3rd place still has 2 races to go through. That's kind of scary, honestly, considering that their 2 lowest scores are like 974 and 958. Like, yeah, you gotta place pretty high to knock those off, but at the same time, this is Floosh we're talking about. Angle, 1 with the perfect score. I'm never gonna let that one down. 1100, perfect right there in their top. They are completely done with all 8 of their races. I'm pretty sure right here these guys are solid. They're just gonna be fighting for placements at this point. Marco with the 39-45 with only 1 over 1,000 finish, but honestly very solid with their 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th scores. Cola in 6th place with a 39-18, pretty solid yet again. Honestly, I don't imagine he's changed too much. There might be a couple overtakings with the leaderboard, and we'll keep up with that throughout the rest of the qualifier stages. We get about 2 weeks left, guys. 2 weeks of qualifiers. We're almost done. Don't depress me like this. This is my favorite time of year. Say. 7th place. They're completely done with all their qualifiers. This is their final score, 38-62. Exodus, by the way, we can calculate right now what their best score could be. And honestly, they could increase their score by 47. They could increase their score by 54 points. So realistically, their top score right now is a 40-76, which could be 1st place. They would have to do better than a 10-68 though. And honestly, that's so tough. It's so tough. It's so tough to do. All right, 8th place, Mr. Mario, who was in our top 2 spots during the last season, actually 1st seed last season, with a 38-58, still has 1 to go. Honestly, I don't see them moving too far from this position. They might go down maybe a couple more, but you know, still having 1 more race, you could calculate exactly how much more that they could increase. But honestly, they could only increase by 15 points. So their maximum could only jump them up by 1 spot, realistically. That's in a best case scenario there. Xavi all finished with 8 races, 38-50, very solid there. That's probably that. I mean, that's 38-50. I mean, if you're looking at a 950 plus on average, this is still a 950 plus. That's 36. Yeah, it's still 950 plus. That's realistically a 962.5 on average. So that's pretty good. Drew, who just won the qualifier during this week, finishing with the, I mean, dude, he's still got 2 more to go. Just go and win 2 more qualifiers, Drew. Go for it. Volk, one person I love to point out and shout out. Volk's been killing it with 1,000, but still pretty high 900s here. Can drop off that 913 and maybe throw in another 1,000. You never know. You still got 1 more to go through. Ecola, somebody who's been saving some of their qualifiers towards the end. Same with Keatums, with 6 and 5 only done. They still got room for improvement here. They got 800s they could drop off and throw in another 1,000. You know how it is. I know, throwing in 1,000. I say it, but it's really not that easy. Tanjo, who was I mean, they were hitting top 10s this week. Flea, you got 3,700s here. These 37s are pretty good. I would highly recommend keep playing if you can. There's no point in not trying to improve your score. I think you're doing really well. Keatums still has 3 races to go through. That's honestly surprising. Keep going, dude. Flea, Aosuna, Nice, these are low 3,700s, high 3,600s. Same with Sanzu. Yeah, definitely keep playing. You got 2 more races. Let's go and keep doing it, because these are not guaranteed to be safe, but they are really decent scores across the board. You're not safe at this point, but you're right there. You're right there on the cusp. And honestly, I believe in you. I really do. I think we can do it from here. I'm going to be rooting for you. And I'm going to try and remember that during next week when I'm going back over these. Mashi, Herox, Rockchalk. Yeah. Mashi, you're completely done, dude. 36, 38. You're averaging just over a 900. This is the point where I'm going to say, if you finished all of your races and this is what your score looks like, you might be in the 30s, you know, in the low 30s to mid 30s for seed placement. But honestly, you have no idea. You can't really tell. You try, and honestly, this might be the cutoff, or it might be just above the cutoff. Everybody from here, I'm going to tell you right now, yes, it shows that you're in the top 32, but if you have races, do them. If you can make more races, go for it, because there's no point in not trying to improve your score. That's realistically what it comes down to. We got Rockchalk, Chuckles, Nopons, Jimbo. Jimbo's done. Nopon's done. Fur, still got 1 more. Bro, you still got 1 more, brother. Keep on going. Yo, you got 2 more to go for. Me think so. Got 2 more to go for. T. Let's go, T. Still got 1 more. Nap, fellow race mod, keep going, brother. You got 2 more. Stuckman in the 32nd spot. You got 1 more to play for. Why not go for another? Honestly, I think right now the 16 to 20 is where our cutoff is going to be, realistically. We still got tons of players that have tons of matches to play through. And we got players that, you know, still have 3, 4, 5 matches to play through. We got 7 qualifiers left, and that is more than enough time for people who have not played at all to go and take on over. So if you can play more, the more the merrier. All right, I never switched up over to the overall standings, and I'm very sorry, but that's not the right one. Anyway, we're pretty much done here today. I didn't think I was going to take as long as I did. I don't really care. I don't care, because this is something that I love to do. That being said, we're going to dip on out of here, not before we go and switch over to the schedule. Schedule this next week coming up, qualifier 14. We got 2 weeks left. 4 qualifiers this week, 3 qualifiers next week. Let's freaking get it, dude. Qualifier 14, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday. Be there right now, tomorrow, today, one of those days. Qualifier 15, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday. Dude, I know it's starting like a little bit, take an early day. Go play the qualifier. Qualifier 16, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is probably familiar to you. This is North American or NA old weekly time, 6 p.m. EST. Everybody loves them. Go and get in there. 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, qualifier 17. That's my personal favorite time slot. I'm going to be playing in that one. I'll probably play the 14 one as well. So maybe we play 2 qualifiers this week. That being said, we're going to dip on out of here. I appreciate every single one of you. I will see you guys in the qualifiers. I want to see you in the race room. I want to see you there. I appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful day. See ya.